Damen, Herren und andere, willkommen zum Nurburgring. Ich heiße Ross Maktar and I'll save you from the dodgy German now. Hello everybody, and yes, it's round 3 of the Formula Trout Premier Series here at the Nurburgring for the DJB 100 German Grand Prix. Well, not quite as feared and revered as its infamous older brother, the 13-mile green hell that is the Nordschleife. The Strecke is still one tough circuit with tight, twisty corners and long straights heading down and then back up the hill. 5.1 kilometers or 3.2 miles on the current layout with 15 corners to boot. There's plenty of heavy braking zones and overtaking opportunities here, but it's easy to make a mistake such as the undulating nature of the track, so we should be seeing a fair few incidents today. Now, before we truly get underway, unfortunately I've got a small announcement to make that I don't particularly want to make, but we must anyway, and it's that the legendary Formula 1 commentator Murray Walker has passed away at the age of 97. Murray was an inspiration to us all and was loved by virtually any motorsport fan, and it is heartbreaking to hear this news. So I'm just going to have a brief moment's silence in memory of Murray and sending out my thoughts to his family. So there we are, Murray Walker, 97 years old. What a legend. An inspiration to us all. I hope he enjoys the great commentary booth in the sky. But we are underway here in qualifying at the Nurburgring. And I was about to say we're about to have the first lap set here by Mike Thompson, but he's spun out on his outlap, so we won't be seeing that today. Let's ride on board with him anyway on his first lap, coming in to the back off the circuit and running very wide, just coming through the Warsteiner curve and up to Ad van Bolden. It's a tricky track, is the number where you can just see the undulation, the rises and the falls as Thompson gets ready to warm up for his lap. We'll follow him on board, letting a car pass there. Not quite sure who that was going past him. And on to the main straight, touching the grass a little bit, getting a tad wide. Now on the run down to turn 1 into Yokohama S. Very tight corner, don't let the rear of the car over-rotate as the car on the right experiences that. Now into the Mercedes Arena, this relatively new section on the track. It's been here about 20 years though. Very tight, very twisty, very technical. This corner is possibly the worst on the entire track. It's so difficult to get right, and you can see there Thompson just squirming under the throttle. Now into turn 5, super quick left-hander, bring the car back over to the left for turn 6. Don't get on the throttle too early. Now down the hill into turn 7. You've got one actually quite wide on the entry point. You can straight line the braking, trail brake into the turn, very late apex because the exit of the corner runs incredibly wide, incredibly early. Now into the Schumacher S, is named after, of course, the legend Michael Schumacher. And now on the run into the Warsteiner curve, turn 10 there. Here is Warsteiner 11 turning in. And now on the run back up the hill into turn 12 in the Engear car chicane. Turning in, brake as late as you can, but don't try and overdo it, especially over the bumps. Mustafa Dalivali has gone top with a 127.5 at the moment. Let's see what Mike Thompson do with the line. Doesn't come to the line according to my timing screen. Apparently that was an out lap, even though it wasn't. There you are, that's an onboard lap with Mike Thompson anyway. And now some just the regular driver gossip. We'll continue to follow Thompson around on his lap, just the regular driver gossip. So obviously the dominant force over the first 2 races here in the Challenger split. Mustafa Moradi now has himself a Master split seat. So Mustafa Moradi, he dominated the first 2 rounds, and now he's out of here. He's in the Volpino seat in the Master split, replacing Joseph Cope. So we won't be seeing any more of him, unfortunately, in the Challenger split, but he'll be up there with the big guns, and this now just reopens the championship wide open here in the Challenger split. And obviously, you may have heard me earlier saying this is the DJ B100 German Grand Prix. That's for David Bull in the Master split, who's hit 100 races overall in Formula Trial, the first driver to do so. So big congratulations for him. Was Thompson a bit off the pace test? Yes, this is the race is called so almost as a bit of a tribute to David there. So again, big congratulations to him. There's a whole raft of sparks get shot out from Thompson's floor there, and he decides to come into the pits. So that will be that then from Mike Thompson. And apparently it is now registering as lap. I don't know. The game Assetto Corsa works in mysterious ways. Gustavo Dalla Valle is back out there. He's currently a second down in his personal best though, as he now heads down the hill into turn 7, which strangely enough has markings on the grandstand which say 8. I still don't know why that is. I've always intended to find out, and I've never got round to it. But back up the hill and into the Schumacher is easily flat in these cars. It's a very scary corner as well. If you get it wrong, you've not got a lot of runoff. It's you'll be finding yourself in the wall very, very quickly indeed. And it sounds like Dalla Valle has backed off on this lap. And yet you can hear that the high engine notes. He's in a higher gear. He's obviously had decided that this lap isn't worth it, but he's going to have a go again, I'm sure, or not. He's coming into the pits. It's all going against me tonight. Let's have a look at Giovanni Amorim instead, who is on a lap, and he's only a 10th off in the first sector, which is not bad at all. We see the 2 Amorim brothers. We've got Bruno Amorim and Giovanni, who we see here racing for the same team through turn 7. Very nice indeed. Just not quite using all the runoff, but that is a very tricky runoff. So obviously these cars sit very, very low to the ground, and very hard suspension. And that curb can be quite violent, and it ends very abruptly as well. You get a lot of wash on the front end through that corner. It's very easy to understeer out of there. Even on power, if you're trying to rotate the rear, you can just find yourself going straight into the gravel. So it's important you don't take too much curb there, as it can almost kind of hook you out. It's a very weird concept, very counterintuitive. But Amorim still looks to be set for a good lap time here with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in qualifying. Let's see what he can do. Comes to the line. The time to beat is a 1:27.5. He goes second with a 1:28.37. So not bad from Giovanni Amorim. Still some pace in there, I'm sure. 7 or more 8 temps as Izom goes faster than him by quite some chunk of time. He's only got 2 tenths to make up. And Bruno's not racing this week, I've been informed by Bruno. Thank you for not swearing with me that. I did not know. I did not know that. Let's say I doubt Giovanni will be going on another lap. This will likely be an in-lap on these tyres. Everybody's out at the moment. Adam Woodward, who's currently in P9, on his way round into the pits. Let's look at Mike Thompson, who's currently P11 as it stands. He's only 1.1 seconds down at the moment through the first 2 sectors. And as he heads down, coming up to the chicane, he looks like he's going to be on a good lap. We'll just have to see what the time is as he comes to the line. If he doesn't make a mistake through here, he should be pretty clean. The last corner is not that punishing. You tend to not lose a horrific amount of time through unless you really run wide on the exit and make a right mess of the underside of your car as you become a bit of a lawnmower. Mike Thompson goes P10, 1.5 seconds off the pace. You can see it's the top 2 at the moment, very much in a class of their own as it stands. You know, they're covered by 2 tenths, and then there's a big gap down to Jacek and P3. And then again, a bit of a gap as well from P3 and 4 down to P5. And then you've got this cluster of cars, P7 and 8, of 0.5 of a second between Case Willems and Lutzel's in P7 and 8. So we've obviously got a clear midfield distinction at the moment. But obviously it can all come different in a race. There's accidents at the Mercedes arena, and the first corner here is... well, it's the most acute hairpin on pretty much any track ever. So, yeah, it's very tricky to take, especially on the first lap when you've got so many cars jostling for position. So, we'll just have to watch out for the first lap. It's going to be a very interesting one. These cars as well, they're so heavy at the rear. Obviously, all the weight's at the rear of the car. That's where the engine is. And once you start to lose it, it's like a pendulum. You will not be able to get it back beyond a certain point. It just goes. And there's every possibility we're going to be seeing that through the first turn today, such as the angle of the corner. And it goes downhill as well. It is a big corner indeed. Mike Thompson's actually going for another lap, which is interesting. So it's obviously, it feels like he's got enough life left in the tyres. Let's go on board with him. In the Griffin Gaming red machine, number 86. And here is this first turn I was talking about. Downhill braking, trying not to lock up, gravity working against you. And just that cambered slightly. And again, turn 2 is actually slightly off camber. It's not as noticeable in a game, but in real life it most definitely is. Now into the Mercedes arena, very horrible section. Mike Thompson really feeling it on the exit there. Just a bit too hard on the throttle. As he comes out of turn, down towards turn 7 with the number 8 on the grandstands on the outside, which I still don't know what that means. If anybody in the chat knows, please do let me know. Because it actually quite frustrates me, because that's turn 7. And now, into the Schumacher S's, absolutely foot pinned to the floor. Brake as late as you can. Turn it in, back on the throttle as you can. Use the camera of the corner to your advantage. Don't touch the grass. Into the right-hander now. DRS wide open, flat out. You can see on the dashboard down below the DRS sign is on. Getting that extra few tenths of a second down the straight through the chicane. It's not great through there, and Mike Thompson is coming into the pits. Well, we didn't get to see a lap there from Mike Thompson. Kees Willems, though, is out at the moment and coming through the Mercedes arena. And I believe he is on a lap by the... no, maybe on an out lap, I think. Yes, I'm going to suspect he's on an out lap. Seems to be taking it quite carefully on his run down into turn 7. In the line is racing car. And again, a very tricky corner is this. Obviously, the braking is downhill, so you've got to be careful to not lock up your tyres. It's the steepest part of the circuit. There's one car... apparently has we're apparently having a connection issue with Kees Willems there. As my camera is also not having a good time. Yep, turn 7, it's downhill, so you've got to not lock up the brakes. And then you've got to get the car turned in, got to get the rear rotated. It's more than 180 degrees of the corner. It almost loops back in on itself. And then again, the runoff is so shallow. You've got barely any runoff before you find the gravel trap. So you've just got to be super careful on the exit of the corner, getting the power down as well, because you're then going uphill. You're going to struggle to get traction. So it's a very tricky corner. As Kees Willems has come into the pits. Agnes Rositis currently on provisional pole with a 1 minute 27.446, 1.5 tenths better than Gustavo Dalla Valle, who's putting on a bit of a better display today than he has the last 2 races. Personally, I think he's been a bit disappointing. The hype surrounding him, he didn't seem to be living up to it. Now he's in P2, and I'm sure there's more time in it. There's still 3 minutes to go in this session, so I'm sure that he'll be able to find that pace. As Rositis, I don't believe he's on a lap at the moment, but I could be wrong. As Dalla Valle goes fastest, there you are. 4.5 tenths quicker than Rositis. Great lap from Gustavo Dalla Valle, and there's more time in it as well, I reckon. You know, there's still track evolution to go. It's only going to get faster with everybody out on track. 2 minutes and 32 seconds remaining on the clock until we have the checkered flag for Challenger Split qualifying here at the third round of the Formula Trout Premier Series season. I don't believe Rositas may be on a lap, actually, judging by the times. Let's see what he can do as he comes to the line. And he's not, and he has got close. He's only 2/10 off of Dalla Valle at the moment, who I'm going to try and travel around with, hopefully. There he is, coming around the bottom end of the track. And into the Schumacher S's. This will be a warm-up lap, it would appear, or an out lap. I don't think it's an in lap, judging from the times. But this is the man to watch at the moment, Gustavo Dalla Valle, currently on provisional pole. Big spray of sparks there in the background. I'm not sure who that was. As he comes into the chicane. And comes into the pits. Everybody's coming into the pits today. Nobody wants to set a lap. Dalla Valle is obviously happy with his qualifying time. He doesn't want to go again. Let's see if Rositas can do anything about that. And he is on an out lap, I believe. Although he's got his DRS wide open, so he may be on a lap. So we'll just have to see what happens as he comes to the line. As well, again, these top two in a class of their own at the moment. This is going to be the race to watch. I believe Rositas will be going for another lap, judging by the times. Comes to the line. Oh no, and he goes provisional pole. There you go, Agnes Rositas. Just under a 10th quicker than Dalla Valle. That must have been a great lap. Isom is also on a lap as he comes around into the final corner. Let's watch him as he comes around. Looks like these are going to be your last laps today. No, Isom's going to have another lap. We'll go on board with him. Down the main straight. This is going to be, as it looks, the man who has the best chance of challenging the top two with 20 seconds left on the clock. This will be his final push lap into turn 2. Little bit wide through there, but uses the momentum, carries the momentum, running the curbs. Interestingly, that's actually slower in real life. It may be faster in sim though, I'm not too sure. I'm not too knowledgeable of this car and track combination. Obviously the RSS Formula Hybrid 2020 based off of a 2020 Formula 1 style car. Very wide through there though, just a bit too late on the brakes. Didn't quite lock up, I don't think. Coming into turn 7. Hard on the brakes, keep the car pinned on the throttle as early as you can. That's a great corner through there. Exit was managed perfectly. Foot pinned to the floor. Takes some of the curb as well on the inside. Very aggressive from Tai Isom. And he is a 10th and 800ths up through the middle sector. Let's see what he can do now. Coming into the chicane. Doesn't take the curb on the inside, nor the curb on the outside. This could be some lap on our hands from Tai Isom. Coming into the chicane, just bounced on the curb. Throttle down nicely. He doesn't take the exit curb either. How late can he get on the brakes? Turning in. Let's see if we can go. Foot to the floor. Amorum goes P2. Rositas and Isom goes on pole. What a lap from Tai Isom. Great stuff there. It's a 1 minute 26.636. That is absolutely flying lap from Tai Isom. Giovanni Amorum as well managed to sneak in to P3. Dalla Valle has been hung out to dry. He was on provisional pole and then I think he just mistimed his lap. Came in way too early. And Tai Isom is going to be on the pole here at the Nurburgring for the DJB 100 German Grand Prix, the Challenger Split of the Formula Trout Premier Series. What a great lap. What a great lap. Wow. Tai Isom, take a bow. And we're now just going to switch over to the race graphic. So we wait now for the countdown to go onto the grid. But that will be your grid for this race. Tai Isom taking the pole with a fantastic lap. 2.8 tenths quicker than Agnes Resistance in P2. Giovanni Amorum taking P3. Gustavo Dalla Valle in P4. Bertine Lutels P5. Martin Jacek P6. Stephen Fox in P7. Andrea, apologies there, my English failing me. Andrea Canini in P8. Mike Thompson in P9. Grayson Williams P10. Keys Willems P11. Leo Garibaldi P12. Adam Woodward P13. Luco Dolciotti in P14. I'm not in P14, that's just my broadcast car, my trusty Mercedes AMG. And I am back in the pits. Fantastic. If I now just spring forward to the front of the grid. Ty Issom. That's not the camera that I wanted. Very helpful. Hang on a minute. Apologies, everybody. I am trying my very best. There we go. That's the camera that I wanted. We can see here the grid in all their glory. Very, very long and lonely stretch down into T1. Now we wait for the start of the race here. 1 minute to go until the lights come on. We'll be underway. And again, before we go green, again I just want to express my my thoughts going out to the family of Murray Walker, the legendary commentator who passed away today at the age of 97. And I'm sure we'll be putting on a great race for him today here at Formula Trout. And I'm sure that he'll be there in the great commentary box in the sky. And watching down. Thank you, Murray. And the lights are about to come on. Which means we're about to go racing. And there we are. Drivers talking about someone getting a very big jump start there in the background. And someone's gone and the lights are out. And we are underway here at the Nurburgring. It's a great start by Ty there. And he looks like he's going to streak off into the lead. And there's Agnes Rositis trying to get a dive down the inside. Will he be able to do it into turn one? No, I don't think he will. Looks like Ty Ussom's going to have the corner as they head through all clean in the background by the looks of things. Wow, that's phenomenal stuff, the fact they've managed to make it through T1. And Ty's already got a huge gap going. Great stuff there as Ty streaks off into the lead. Great start from Issom. He's already got a second to Amorim in P2, who's overtaken Rositis. And there's more overtakes in the background as well. Lutels has got past Dalla Valle at the pier. Dalla Valle just having a torrid time, it would seem. He went from provisional pole to a P4, and now he's down in P5. Not a great start at all, but Bertrand Lutels up into P4. Issom has absolutely streaked away. 1.3 seconds already, and we're halfway around lap 1, and there's 39 laps to go. Phenomenal stuff from Ty Issom. Coming through the Schumacher S's. Heavy braking. It looks like we're going to have a very clean first lap, which is great stuff to see. You know, even in the Challenger split, this is the best of the best in... Oh, and that being said, there's a big accident there. That's Gustavo Dalla Valle round. Oh, and there's more contact there. Who is that with? I'm not quite sure. Gustavo Dalla Valle. Oh, what an awful first lap he's had. I was just singing his praises and saying, oh, and he's retired from the race. Oh, that is awful, awful stuff for Gustavo Dalla Valle as Ty Issom comes around to complete lap 1. I was just saying how great it was to see we made the first lap cleanly, but there we have Gustavo Dalla Valle, one of the men who I think could have won this race, out on lap 1. What a horrible start for him. He's really not been having a good time in the Challenger split this year. It's been a tough time. He had a pretty poor race out in Bahrain. There's a car going straight off in the background. Who is that? Not quite sure. It may just be a connection issue on my end, because according to my timing screen, nobody has gone anywhere. But yeah, Gustavo Dalla Valle, he had a torrid time as apparently Woodward goes to the lead, yet my connection would appear it's having a bit of a moment. But, yeah, he had a torrid time out in Bahrain. He just wasn't really there last time out either. He just, you know, he didn't really show up. It was quite disappointing. And today, he's finally got himself into a good grid position. You know, Mustafa Moradi, the dominant force, has moved on to the master split. Now is his time to shine. Now is his time to prove that he can win and he can be a champion here in the Formula Trout Challenger split. And it's ended in disaster on that first opportunity. Dreadful stuff there. The gap between Isom and Amorim has come down drastically over this second lap. Only 6/10 now separating them as Amorim sets the fastest lap of the race, and then Rositis sets the fastest lap of the race. 1:29.777. Very, very quick there indeed. So these top three all look like they're going to be possessing good pace. Looks like we're going to have a big battle all race long here at the Nurburgring, or let's hope for one anyway. I'm going to touch wood and hopefully say I haven't spoken too soon. Coming through the Mercedes arena now. Let's go on board with Amorim as he heads into turn 5 and 6. Running a much wider line than Isom through there, but that'll allow him to keep the momentum down into turn 7. And if you look in his mirrors, you can just see Agnes Rositis getting ever closer. And that's very wide by Giovanni Amorim through turn 7. That's not going to do him any favours at all, especially his tyres as well. On the C4 compound, I believe that is. That's really not going to do anything. And then running wide again. Oh, a big moment there for Giovanni Amorim. Almost lost the car. Just managed to hold on. Isom's going to look at his mirror and go, thank you very much. I'll have that every day of the week. And Agnes Rositis behind. Is just closing in. As we go on to lap 5, Amorim, that was a really not a good lap from him. 5/10 slower than Isom that time round. Looks like he's going to be able to hold off Rositis for the time being, but that gap is very, very close. It looks like Isom is actually a bit slower through the first section than Amorim is. I believe Grayson Williams has had a bit of an incident because he's now coming into the pits. I just thought he was dropping places. Perhaps he's had a spin somewhere. That's unfortunate for him. And he's going to be the first driver to pit today. Here is Mike Thompson, who's had an absolutely phenomenal start up into P5. Great stuff from Mike Thompson. He's leading this train of cars here down into turn 7. Jacek as well, I think, has just had a spin because he's just had an awful lap there. They come out of turn 7 now. Not the biggest grid here today at the Nurburgring and the Challenger split. Missing quite a few of the regular names, but if you can't make every race as sim racing, you're not paid to do it, obviously. And sometimes, you know, real life gets in the way. And you do have to remember that. So that's unfortunate for some people, but I'm sure the 13 remaining drivers here today are still going to put on a show for us. As if we go and watch Agnes Rositis now, who is catching up to Amorim, who is catching up to Ty Isom in P1. And behind them as well, Lutels sitting patiently, setting very consistent laps as Amorim sets the fastest lap of the race there. Great stuff from him. He's getting very, very close to Ty Isom in P1. Oh, and he's gone very wide through the Mercedes arena, and there's going to go Rositis up the inside, surely. That is a dumb move. Looks like Amorim's going to hold the inside line. Oh, this is phenomenal stuff. Let's see what Rositis can do. No, looks like he's going to have to hold on behind for the moment. That could have been P2. What a wasted opportunity. I'm sure he's beating himself up over that. Could have just been a little bit more aggressive. He could have P2 on his hands. Amorim, great recovery from that very, very wide exit to turn 3, or turn 2 even, should I say. And he's managed to just hold on to P2 by the absolute skin of his teeth. And personally, I've got no idea how he's managed to hold on to that. But he has, and they've now lost a big, big chunk of time to Ty in P1, so they're now going to find all of that all over again. Yeah, continue to ride on board with Rositis up into the chicane. And again, Amorim running wide. Amorim running very wide on the exit corner. We have to massively bog down to make the exit of the corner. Thompson apparently going to the leads again. The timing board is not having a good day today. I can tell you that it's lying. So Thompson is not in the lead of this race. He's not in P3 either. Or P4. And Rositis having a look again. He's got the pace, I believe. Amorim has got the fastest lap of the race at the moment, but Rositis is just super consistent. He's hitting his marks every single time. And Amorim is just feeling that pressure. You know, through the corners, he's just one of their example. Through the exit of the Mercedes winner, just running very wide every lap. And it's costing him so much time. And he just needs to, you know, keep his head, keep his cool as he heads through. As they now head down the hill, Isom now has 1.5 seconds to Amorim behind. Rositis 2/10 behind. He's very close. He's going to need to clear him soon if he wants to stay with tyres at the stands. I think Amorim might have already chewed through his tyres a bit. It's only lap 6, but once you start to bite into those softer compound tyres, you know, they really lose that edge. You really have to protect them. And again, Rositis just looking. Amorim must be seeing his mirror's full of that TCE sports car. And again, Luttel's not far behind either. This top 4 all within shot of each other. And there goes Rositis up the outside into chicane. This is going to be a fantastic move if he can pull it off. And it looks like he is going to... Wow, what a move by Agnes Rositis up into P3. Wow, no, look at that. Amorim's going to go try and get back up the inside around the final corner. Isom says the fast lap of the race. They're neck and neck as they come to the line. Looks like Amorim's going to hold up for the time being. Into turn 1, who's going to be better on the brakes? I think it might be Rositis, but he locks up a bit. He's got the outside line. If he can hold the inside line, there's contact between the pair. Bit of wheel rubbing coming through into the Mercedes arena. Still side by side. This is great stuff here at the Nurburgring. Oh, and Rositis runs very wide. Oh, he runs very wide. Oh, and then still, oh my word, and there's Lutels in the background as well. They're still neck and neck. Coming now into the left-hander, looks like Rositis is going to have to yield for the time being. Fantastic stuff from Amorim and Rositis there. Great defending, great attacking. And it looks like Rositis is going to have a go again into turn 7. Can't quite make it done. Lutels is now in the equation. We're going to go on board with Lutels here, who's managed to catch up to the back of them. Oh my word. Oh my word. What an intense lap. And these three absolutely locked in battle. Ty's managed to put 3 seconds on the Amorim of all of this kerfuffle. And these... Oh, and there goes Rositis again. Oh, no, and there goes Rositis! There goes Agnes Rositis. Round he goes. Oh, no, and I'm so sympathetic for Agnes because I've been in that exact scenario before in a Formula 2 car. With the DRS open, you just turn the wheel slightly too hard through a corner. And you just lose the rear end, and Agnes Rositis just falling foul to the lack of rear downforce. What a shame for Agnes Rositis, and my screen has temporarily frozen there. Oh my word. Oh my word, what an intense lap. Agnes Rositis, what a shame. And here's Amorim, and he's already got a bit of a gap now to Lutels behind. Already 4 seconds Amorim has put it, and maybe Lutels as well had his own incident. Because that's quite some gap, and we were treated to, wow, what a lap and a half of racing we just saw here in Formula Trout. That was phenomenal. And my heart goes out to Agnes Rositis. You know, it's not even a mistake that you can make. You don't even think about when you've got the DRS opening. These cars have so much rear downforce. And round he goes. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. But great defending from Giovanni Amorim there the entire way around. Lutels as well getting involved behind. Rositis has already closed up to Lutels, as we can see there from the timing screens. And Ty Isom's just run away. He's, while all this battling's happened, he's now got 5 seconds and 2/10 to Giovanni Amorim behind. That's quite a gap to make up. But Giovanni is he does have the fastest lap of the race at the moment. But Isson runs very wide through the Mercedes are in there. I've been seeing a lot of, again, just a bit of a twitch there. But I've been seeing a lot of drivers actually running the AstroTurf there. It's very strange. We're just going to go on board with Isson here with the man in P1. But it's very strange because in real life, you don't want to run that AstroTurf. It's actually slower to run that AstroTurf than it is to run just off it. I'm not sure why that is. Probably something to do with the laws of physics. As Isson was very wide through turn 7, managed to cut it back in. Very aggressive line through there. Yeah, in a set of course, which seems in the RSS Formula Hybrid 2020, it appears that it is faster to run the AstroTurf. So that's very interesting to see. Obviously, if there was any real-life drivers here, they could be the real judge to let us know if you believe that running the AstroTurf is quicker or not. It's on 5.5 seconds now, so more and behind. And Rositis in P4 has fought his way back into Bertine Lutels. And here we go, all over the back of him again. DRS open this time. Oh no, and there's contact between the pair! Rositis hits the brakes too late. There goes Bertine Lutels, punted at the back end. Oh, what a shame for Lutels there. He's running in P3. Willems, Garibaldi and Thompson all get through. Oh, what a shame. Rositis in P3. Just a bit of a tap. I'm sure that will be some sort of front wing damage as Dalla Valle finally DNFs from the race. After sitting in their pits for 10 laps. And Rositis, again, that car does not look very happy. It's been a bit of a downfall from P. Well, he's back in P3, I suppose, but from where he was just a few laps earlier. And I'm sure that Lutels will not be too happy with that. Rositis just too close. Was not expecting Lutels to hit the brakes that early into the chicane. Contact between the pair, and around goes Lutels. You know, it is tough to judge what other drivers are doing, especially when you're in this style of car. This, it's such a high level of performance in this car. There's a car round in the background there. Who was that? Was that Giovanni Amorim? Giovanni Amorim round. The man who was running in P2 has spun coming up the Schumacher S's. Rositis is now in P2. It's an 11-second gap to tie Isson. What's going on? We have been gifted one absolute corker of a race here in the Challenger split of Season 8 of the Formula Trout Premier Series. And it's only been 11 laps as Rositis sets the fastest lap of the race. Clearly that damage is not doing him too much harm. And Amorim just getting very shaky through the corner. And there goes Amorim again. Oh no! Giovanni Amorim just cooked his tyres. A bit of a twitch on the exit of the final corner. Around he goes, meets the outside wall. And in the space of half a lap, he's gone from P2 to P10. Oh, what a shame for Giovanni Amorim. Oh, that is crushing. That is. Oh, that. We've seen some real drama here at the Nurburgring. What a shame for Giovanni Amorim. And Tyre Isson is now just in a class of his own. Mustafa Moradi, obviously, as I've mentioned, has found his way into a master split drive. And Tyre Isson has just picked up the pieces of what Moradi dropped. He's dominated this race so far. Obviously, still got the pit stops to go. Only 11 laps in. And it's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. But from the current judging, he's driven a very solid race. He's not obviously gone off the road, as the timing screen is again having a very weird moment, and apologies for that. It's just not liking me today. Yep, Tyre Isson just absolutely the class of the field at the moment. 10.2 seconds to Agnes Rositis in P2, and Rositis is no slouch. He is certainly not a slow driver, so Isson is putting in a great display here today. As he comes into turn 6 in that green Formula Trout livery. On the run downhill into turn 7, you can see just how wide he's taking it. That is the line And also, it's a very aggressive line in the corner that he takes. There's a big wobble there on the exit. On the exit of the corner, excuse me. The actual corner itself, he's taking a very aggressive line. I'm sure that's not doing his tyres anything. But the entry to the corner, he is taking that exactly how pros do it, how professional racing drivers do. You hook it out wide on the slight bend, and then you bring it in, and you essentially straight line the braking zone. That is the advice for this track. That is the one thing that professional racing drivers say about this track, is that you brake in a straight line for that corner, because it saves you a few meters, and that is crucial, and that's what Issom's doing at the moment. However, that wobble has cost him about a second to Rositas behind. But he's still got 9 seconds, 9.3 seconds, so it's not bad at all. Mike Thompson is very, very close to the back of Bertrand Lutels at the moment. The teammates in the Griffin Gaming red cars. Lutels was running in a P3 earlier. Into his back end met the front of Agnes Rositas, and Thompson dives into the pits. So this will be the opening of the pit stop window, it would appear, as Willems comes in as well in front of him. There goes Keys Willems. So we're having our first pit stops. Let's see who wins out of this pit stop battle between the pair. One of them might be repairs on it. We'll see what tyres they go on to as well. So we can't tell the exact compound, but we can kind of roughly guess, because there's 3 colours, red, yellow, and white. As there goes they both had out on white comp side, and with red being the softest and white being hardest. And there's 5 compounds of tyres, from C5 being the softest to C1 being the hardest. But as Thompson runs very wide, obviously tyres not up to temperature. But only the C2s to the C4s are really useful. The other 2 tyres just wear out too quickly, or just are not good race tyres. They're too hard. They can go a very long distance, but they just don't have the pace to justify it. As Thompson really struggling on this fresh rubber. And Keys Willems is on the back of Canini as we speak. So both onto the white walled, I believe that's the C2 tyres there. I could be wrong, do correct me if I am. But I believe we should be seeing them have another stop. After all, it's only lap 13 of 39. Only a third into this race. And I'm not entirely sure those tyres will go the entire way, as Ty Issom comes into the pits. Rositas inherits the lead of this race. Garibaldi goes through as well, as will Bertrand Lutels in the background. Actually, I'm not quite sure if Bertrand Lutels will make it, but Ty Issom is coming out on the white sidewall tyres as well, the C2. So everybody, it appears, is going onto the white walled tyres. Now, will he run wide at the first corner as well? We just saw Thompson do it, and no, he does not. He manages to keep it within the track limits. Willems overtakes, looks like Canini's gone round there, it may seem. No, he's just coming into the pits. The pit stop window is well and truly open, ladies and gentlemen and others. Let's see what tyres Andrea Canini will do. We'll put on this time. Coming into the pits and out. Not that quickly, actually. He's gone on to the yellow wall tyres. So those would be the C3, the more medium compound rubber. I believe he has some damage repair there as well, because that was quite a long time he was spent sat still. Out into P11 he goes, just outside the points. Giovanni Amorim ahead of him, though, has also boxed onto... That is the hardest compound. That is the C1s. Okay, so Giovanni Amorim will be one stopping this race. That is very interesting, because those tyres are widely considered unusable, I would say. They can definitely go very, very far, but they just don't have the race pace to justify going that extra length. It's better to have an extra stop than it is to use those tyres. And either Amorim is not confident he can make the C2s go to the end, or he knows the C2s can't go to the end and he doesn't want to have another stop. Just have to see what happens as Woodward as well comes into the pits. Well, no, he doesn't. Adam Woodward spins, actually. So Adam Woodward seems to have spun coming into the chicane, and he's coming into the pits anyway. Keys Willems sets these personal best lap of the race, and Issom is all over the back of Lutels as we speak. Ty Issom on his charge back to the front. Bertrand Lutels obviously was chasing down Issom earlier, but had that accident, I believe that was with Agnes Rositas. And Bertrand has not boxed it either, neither has Garibaldi. No, the front two drivers have not boxed yet. I believe they're the only two yet to do so. Unless I'm very much mistaken. And I'm sure we'll be seeing them coming in very, very shortly. Apparently Garibaldi is picking up DRS penalties left, right and centre. That'll be interesting to see. He's not really been in contestant for this race anyway. Even though he has the lead, he's there out of not pitting, so... As Isom even apologies, still chases down Bertan Neutrals. On to the next lap it goes, DRS wide open. Fox in the background as well, I'm sure, drawing them in. He has to go to the outside into turn one. This would be a very good move if he can pull this off. Lutels holds the inside line. Here we go, neck and neck. It's going to be Lutels holding the position for the time being. Isom clearly has the pace at the moment. And again, running very wide. Oh, that is super wide. Lutels almost shuts the door. Coming into the Mercedes arena. Holds the position. Isom had to take a very wide line. And there's wheel banging between the pair. Oh, and there's... Oh, no, and there's big contact. Big contact. Isom off into the grass, into the barrier, I think. Yes, just touches the barrier. Lutels tried to shut the door on the outside. And Ty Isom, who's had a clean race, and he's back into the pits. Ty Isom is going to retire from this race. Oh my goodness me, I do not believe this. Ty Isom, who has dominated this entire event here, the Formula Trout Challenger Split, is going to retire from this race. He barely even touched the wall. Oh my god, no, he's heading back out. He's heading back out. I didn't even know that. Is that allowed? Is that allowed? I have no idea. He's back in P8. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with the flow. This is new. I don't think that you're allowed to escape back to the pits. He has there though. Okay, Dolciotti's very close to Willems for P5, moving on very quickly. And Dolciotto is on a more softer compound tires. He's on the yellow-walled C3s compared to the white-walled C2s. So he's going to have the pace advantage at the moment. Those tyres won't be able to go to the end. I'm not entirely sure the C2s will either, but these definitely won't. But he does have a quicker race pace. He's going to have more grip in the corners. It's fluctuates between 5/10 and a second. But yeah, so Ty, by the sounds of things, will be disqualified from this race. And yet there's been an announcement from the steward telling he needs to go back into the pits and retire. You are not allowed to escape back to the pits, so unfortunate mistake for Ty Isom there. Perhaps he had steering damage, we don't know. Very, very strange into the... Ooh, Dolciotti, big drift through that corner. That's another corner you want to be sliding through. And Ty has retired. Oh, gutting for the man who had dominated the opening stages of this race. But now it's anybody's game. This race has just been blown wide open. Unbelievable stuff here at the Nurburgring. Wow. Scenes. Absolute scenes. That's all I can say. Dolciotti has really fallen back from Willems, but I tell you, hasn't fallen back. Stephen Fox is gaining on Agnes Rositis in P2 at the moment, despite what the timing screen is telling you. It looks like Canini and Woodward side by side as well, coming through the last corner. Woodward standing in for Bruno Amorim in this race. Giovanni Amorim's brother. Bruno, that is, not Woodward. Coming through first corner now, and looks like Woodward is going to just have the position and run away with it. Good stuff to see there, up into P9, not bad at all. And Canini was chasing down Bootles earlier, so it just goes to show anything can happen, really, in sim racing. And Willems and Fox, wow, Keys Willems has really caught up to Stephen Fox in his last few laps. That's come out of nowhere. Keys Willems is all over the back of Fox. Let's go on board with Willems now, coming into the chicane. He's on a harder compound, and as Fox is going to come into the pits this lap, so we're robbed of some action there, unfortunately. But Keys Willems up into P3. He's been a very consistent performer this season so far. He's always been there or thereabouts in the podium positions. He's done a great job of, you know, driving very consistently. He's not been the quickest by any means, mainly because until this point, Mustafa Moradi has just absolutely destroyed the entire field. But he's been a very quietly consistent driver, has Willems. He's running very well. You know, putting in some solid performances, and it's stuff like that that gets you places. You know, it's all good and out having out and out ridiculous pace and being the fastest driver the world's ever seen, but if you can't keep a consistent race, then there's no point in a team having you, because you're just going to crash off every lap. And Keys Willems is Mr. Consistency. He's doing a solid job. 13.7 seconds to Agnes Rositis in P1. Rositis himself has 18.8 seconds to Garibaldi in P1, or Rositis in P2, apologies. I believe Garibaldi has not boxed yet in the Bell Motorsport car. This is the first we've really seen of them this season. Fairly new team to the championship, Bell MK Motorsport. And Garibaldi's doing a great job here, just holding those tyres, just keeping the car moving. He's got 18.3 seconds to Agnes Rositis in P2, who is obviously one of the quicker drivers in the Challenger Split in that TC Esports car, one of the biggest teams in the Challenger Split. And yeah, Garibaldi's doing a fantastic job at the moment. He must be coming to the pits though, surely, because those tyres they must be screaming. They've done over half distance in this race as Bertan Lutel sets the fastest lap of the race, 129.071. Great lap from him there. That's very quick. Rositis has boxed now, so when Garibaldi pits, he will be in the lead of this race. And he's gone onto the white wall as well, so that tells me that if he's got to halfway and he's gone onto the C2 white wall tyres, that they really don't go that long. So that's something to watch out for, as Garibaldi's still going around on those softs. That's phenomenal stuff from Garibaldi at the moment. He's doing a great shift as he heads into the first turn. Let's go on board with him. Well, MK Sport driver. As I said, relatively new team to Formula Trout. This is the first we've really seen of them in the Challenger Split. They've been pretty quiet so far this season. Lap 21 of 39 here at the Nurburgring, the DJB 100 Grand Prix in Germany. 12 drivers remain out of 14. Garibaldi currently holds the lead, the only driver yet to have boxed, heading into turn 7 as we're on board with him now. That's very wide indeed. Interesting line. That might work through Druids of Brands Hatch. I'm not entirely sure it will work here just because of the incline of the corner, but he's the one driving and he's the one in the lead of this race at the moment. But Rositis is gaining at quite a rate of knots. 2 seconds on the last time. Oh, Rositis goes round! Just manages to save it. Garibaldi, even not Rositis, apologies. Just manages to save it though. I think that's time for new tyres, Mr. Leo. Yeah, that's not what you want to be doing when you're in the lead of a race. And running long on tyres is having half spins. And he's still staying out. You know, all credit to him. That very bold indeed. But he's still staying out. I like to think of myself as my strategies usually are quite good. I'm quite good at Motorsport Manager if I do some personal bragging. And I must say, this is not a good strategy. We did his fastest lap of the race. First man into the 28s. 128.762. He is catching Garibaldi at a rate of knots. And that stands Leo Garibaldi on these old softs will just have to sit and watch as the TC Esports car just sails past him. And you know, all credit to Garibaldi for making these softs last this long. It's great to see them go this far, but they've got no pace. They must be on the tread by now. Or down to the thread, should I say. So, and he's still taking that very... It's an interesting line. I've never really seen that line through turn 7. Very interesting. We're going to carry on running on ball. Well, we're not actually, because Dolciotti's just been overtaken by Mike Thompson in the Griffin game car, who's had an absolutely phenomenal comeback from a very poor qualifying session. But he's really fought his way up the grid on lap 22 here. He's now P4, so great stuff from him. He's got 10 seconds to Kees Willems in front, who himself has 17 seconds to Agnes Rositis, who is the current provisional leader of this race. Obviously, Garibaldi still needs to pit. And he's catching Garibaldi at some rate of knots anyway. I'd give it a few laps if Leo does not pit till he's all over him. But that being said, the Nurburgring is... There's lots of heavy braking zones, yes. That was very slow through there from Leo Garibaldi. But yes, there's lots of heavy braking zones. Now, if you're good on the brakes, you've got the tyres, you can do a dive bomb. But, you know, it's not a particularly wide track. We saw earlier with Tahir Som and Bertine Lutels just running side by side and just running off the road. It's so easy to do here at the Nurburgring. It's not a wide track, so you can go for the dive bomb. But, you know, if you can't fit through, you're not going to be able to get the overtake. And what Garibaldi can do is just make his car as wide as the sun. And Rositis will not be able to get through, and that will be that. And that he could hold this lead of the race for as long as he wanted to take these tyres. Doing a great job at the moment. Thompson and Dolciotti still going at it by the looks of things on our timing screen. And now, again, and I know I've mentioned it several times, and we had a brief moment earlier of silence, but I just, again, want to put out my my deepest regards for Murray Walker's family. As Thompson runs very wide there. That's going to be Dolciotti back into P4. Oh, and almost Amorim might have him as well. But yeah, there goes Giovanni Amorim on those C1s. They're going to be neck and neck coming into T7. Nope, looks like Giovanni Amorim is going to hold the position for now. As I was saying, my deepest condolences to Murray Walker's family. Obviously, the great commentator passed away earlier today at the age of 97. And he was a man that many looked up to, myself included. Just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Brought so much joy to so many people. And I can say that absolutely you will be missed, Murray. You will be missed. That's Dolciotti coming into the pits there. Let's see what tyres he puts on. He's gone very, very long on those yellow wood C3s. Let's see what tyres he takes. He goes on to... Ooh, that's very interesting. Still 14 laps to go here. In this Grand Prix of Germany, the DJB 100 Grand Prix of Germany, obviously named after David Bull in celebration of his 100th race in the Formula Trout Series, the first driver to reach that mark. And Dolciotti fancies doing a bit of work. Garibaldi, however, still going round on those softs, which is phenomenal, it must be said. And I'll tell you who else is still going around. Mike Thompson is all over the back of Giovanni Amorim. 8/10 separating them at the moment, as they head into the final quarter and onto the main straight. DRS wide open for Thompson. He was 5/10 quicker on that lap. He's not going to be close enough into T1. And if we can stick with him, he might have a chance for a dive bomb later on in the lap. Thompson, I've already spoke his praises today. Had an absolutely atrocious qualifying session. Managed to fight his way up into P5. It's been a great drive from him. It's been one of the highlights of the day so far. Hopefully he's going to continue giving us the goods as he fights with Giovanni Amorim here for P4. Rositis still looking at Tumble, is reeling Garibaldi, and then Joel Ciotti as well already on the charge on those C4s, the soft compound tyres. Lutels and Fox as well locked in a battle for P5. Oh no! There goes Thompson! More commentators curse from me. I am so sorry. Every time I speak about praise to a driver, they spin off. I am so sorry to everybody who is affected by my sayings, because every time I say something, someone spins. And behind them, Fox and Lutels are absolutely neck and neck. Fox runs very wide out of the left-hander there. Coming to the right-hander. There goes Lutels off into the grab as well. Let's go on board with Lutels so we can get some on-board action, see what's going on ahead of us. Bertrand Lutels has lost that big time there through the right-hander into the chicane. Oh, and there goes Owen Lutels. That's a bit illegal, if I'm honest. It looks like Thompson just got it completely wrong. Had a bit of a spin. Fox went to avoid, and Lutels just decided to not brake. Yep, he's letting the position go. That's absolutely the right thing to do. A great sportsmanship there from Bertrand Lutels. He didn't even have to be asked to do that. That's great to see. He knew he was in the wrong there. That is fantastic. You don't see that a lot in sim racing. And he's already going back at it. Oh, and he's having a little spin himself. Bertrand Lutels locking up all four wheels there. Almost stalled the car. Obviously, you can't stall these cars. There's an anti-stall. But still, runs very wide out of the Mercedes arena. He's not going to worry about Thompson behind. He was 3 seconds back. But yeah, Bertrand Lutels, you know what? That is absolutely commendable from Lutels there. Not a lot of drivers would do that, as Rositis sets the fastest time of the race. Although his charge on oh, Garibaldi has actually pitted, actually. I didn't notice that. Garibaldi has pitted into P2, I believe. Oh, no, he spun. Garibaldi appears to have spun then. Lost 11 seconds to Agnes Rositis and is now coming into the pits. So those tyres are obviously not doing him any good anymore. Let's see what tyres he goes on to for the rest of the race. Comes into the pits. Has to roll backwards. Oh no, has to roll backwards a little bit. That's really not ideal. Down, and he's gone on to the same compound of tyres. Okay. Unless there was a graphics glitch, and he was on a harder compound, that is not allowed. You do have to use 2 different sets of compound here in Formula Trout. So hopefully that was a graphics glitch, because otherwise Garibaldi is going to be getting a very sternly worded letter from the stewards after this race, along with 3 words by his name, and or 3 letters by his name, should I say, and those 3 letters will be DSQ, disqualified. As Willems gets past as well. Rositis into the lead, 25 seconds, very commanding lead at the moment from Agnes Rositis. And Lutels fighting his way back up to Stephen Fox. And again, I was speaking as President a moment ago, but I would just like to reiterate that not a lot of people would do that, moving over on their own accord. Most people would have to be told to get out the way in that scenario. So hats off to Bertrand Lutels, being an absolute gentleman. Great to see. Coming into the right-hander now, still chasing down Stephen Fox. Into the chicane. These two still locked in a battle. They've been neck and neck. 3 tenths currently separating them. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment, apart from Canini and Dolciotti. Dolciotti is charging anyway. Let's see if Lutels can have a look. He's got the DRS, he's got the run, having to pull to the outside. Fox is going to have the inside line, but Lutels might be able to get a switchback going in. Not quite. Can't get the power down early enough. But he's closer this time round. Squeezing ever closer and closer to Stephen Fox in P5. 1/10 of a second separating them. Here we go. Bertrand Lutels. This is your moment, son. Got to grasp it and go for it. Let's see if he has a dive bomb down into turn 7. He is all over the back of Stephen Fox. He's got the slipstream. I'm not sure he's going to be close enough, though. No, he's not. Into turn 7. Not quite close enough this time round. 10 laps to go here at the Nurburgring in the Challenge Split of the Formula Trout Premier Series, Round 3, the DJB 100 German Grand Prix. Lutos actually haven't fallen back a bit this lap. That's very interesting. And Morum appears to have got past Garrett. I think Garibaldi may have just spun. Or no, or it's the timing screen is lying to me. Yes, it is. Once again, apologies for that, folks. Having a lot of technical issues with the timing screen tonight. It's really not being very kind to me. But, you know, technical issues are part and parcel. I suppose you have to deal with them and move on. You know, it's been a great race so far. 29 laps we've had it all. We've had drama, action, crashes, overtakes, 1.5 lap side-by-side battle, which was absolutely phenomenal stuff, may I just add. But we've still got 10 laps to go, and Agnes Rositis has a 31-second lead. That is absolutely phenomenal stuff. He's taken over where Ty Isom left off after Ty retired. And he is absolutely dominating. Keys Willems in P2 just is not on the same pace. And Willems is not doing a bad job at all. That just puts into perspective how quick Rositis is at the moment. He's putting almost a second a lap in on Keys Willems. That is phenomenal. Fox and Lutos still locked in a battle. Dolciotti as well, now beginning to chase down Thompson. Garrett Bolli as well. Looks like he might be gaining on Willems. I'm not sure. He's quite got the pace to get to him by the end of this race. There's only 9 laps left. We'll just have to see. Lutos has a look to the outside. Backs off. Can't quite get it. He might be able to get the switchback. He's very, very close this time. He's having a look to the inside to turn 2. Not quite there again, but he's still all over the back of Fox, running very wide. He's going to try and get all the momentum out of the Mercedes arena he can. Try and get Fox, and they are absolutely on each other coming out of the Mercedes arena. 2 tenths separating these two. This is quite some battle on our hands for P5 at the moment. And again, it just looks like Fox just has the slight advantage on the run down into T7. I'm not sure if he's just better through T6, or if he's running a lower downforce setup. He's got the quickest speed down the straight. But that's the main overtaking opportunity, is that dive. And unfortunately, Lutos just cannot get close enough. And obviously the dirty air kicking in as well is not going to be ideal. Canini, Dolciotti's got Woodward. I believe Woodward spun, actually, because Dolciotti's just got past him and he's 12 seconds back. So Adam Woodward's had a spin by the looks of things. Canini all over the back of him. And he's had another spin there. There goes Adam Woodward. Oh, no. What a shame for Adam Woodward, who was having a very, very strong race, it must be said. Stepping in for Bruno Amorim this round. And that's a shame. He's still in P10, still in the points. Dolciotti gets Thompson as well. So Dolciotti is the man on the charge at the moment coming through the field. I'm not sure he's going to be close enough to get Lutos or Fox unless one of them makes a mistake. Lutos is right all over Fox. Again. Oh no, sorry, Lutos has to lock up all 4 wheels coming into the Mercedes arena, and he's got to do all that work again. Oh my goodness me. Every time he just gets close enough and he just can't make it happen. Lutos is just trapped in this endless loop of agony and suffering. And again, just getting too keen on the throttle there. And just car getting a bit wide. Maybe the dirty air not helping as well. And just losing the rear end. He managed to save it. Got all 4 wheels locked up. And it was a good save, to be fair to him. That could have ended a lot worse than it did. But he's now got 1.5 seconds to get back. And I'm sure he'll be able to do that very easily. He's a very, very quick driver, is Bertrand Lutos. And on the subject of quick, Agnes Rositis, 34.5 seconds to Keys Willems in P2. That is some gap. Rositius could have another pit stop if he wants to. If he wants to go for fastest lap of the race, again, there's another half spin there for Lutels. Those tyres must be absolutely roasting. If anybody in the TC Esports camp is watching, can you give Agnes a good old nudge for me and tell him to box onto the softs for a fastest lap attempt? I would owe you dearly. But obviously I'm not saying anything, I'm just a commentator. Lewis was 3 seconds back from Fox now. That is such a shame. Garibaldi, which we're going to go to, who was put in a monster stint on these on the tyres earlier, is chasing down Willems for P2. So Garibaldi as well. Dolciotti and Garibaldi are the two cars with the pace at the moment. They're the cars that are absolutely flying through the pack. 6 laps to go here at the Nurburgring. Now, I'm still not entirely sure what was happening with the tyres on that Bell MK Motorsport car. Because, obviously in Formula Trout, as per Formula 1, you have to use 2 different compounds over the race. And I'm not sure if it was a graphical glitch. It very may well have been. But it appears that Garibaldi was on the same compound of tyres in his first stint. Maybe he had an early box and I missed it. If he did, my apologies. I've been slandering you for absolutely nothing. If anybody from the Bell team is watching, and if someone can let us know from the Bell camp what's going on, because there is every possibility I just missed a very early pit stop onto the C4s. But if he did really take that entire stint on the C4s, first of all, well done. That's a monster stint on those tyres. Hats off. But second of all, you need to have another stop before the end because you are going to be disqualified. So if anybody in the Bell camp is watching, either on Twitch or YouTube, please either let me know that he has been on another compound before, or let Leo know that he needs to stop again, because he's currently in P3 chasing down P2, and that would be so heartbreaking to see him disqualified from this race for a rule that is as bright as day in the rule book. So Garibaldi does need to box again, I believe. But he's done a good performance, to be fair. He's done a good performance. He put, like I said, he put in that phenomenal stint on the first lap. Well, not the first lap, in the first set of tyres even, should I say. Apologies. And managed to fight his way up into the lead. And now he's very close to Keys Willems, but I'm certain I didn't miss a pit stop. I am certain that he's been on the C4s twice, and that is illegal, as per the rule book. And it will be a shame if he's disqualified. But, rules are rules. You can't break them. And Willems has had a problem. Willems has had a problem coming out of turn 7. There goes Garibaldi up into P2. Agnes Rositis, a 28.2 there. Great lap as he's 40 seconds ahead of Garibaldi at the moment. The win is very much in his hands. But Garibaldi up into P2. He could be getting disqualified for all we know. Still drama late on in the race here. Willems just, I think, had a half spin coming out of turn 7. Lutels as well has fallen massively back from Stephen Fox. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Dolciotti has gained on got away from Thompson as well. So the race looks to be settling into its final phase here at the Nurburgring. And boy, oh boy, has it been one hell of a race. I'm sure that if he were here, and if the very minuscule chance he would have watched it, that Murray Walker would have been proud of. So, again, I know I've mentioned several times already today that, but it is devastating, especially as a commentator. He to lose him. He's a man who I've looked up to my entire life, and it is, you know, it feels fitting that we've had such a good Challenger split race today. And I'm sure that later on as well, after this in the Master Split, we'll have a fantastic race as well. And I'm sure that we're doing Murray proud here at the Nurburgring. Three laps to go here at the DJB 100 German Grand Prix. And currently on board with Lutels, who is just can't really do anything at this point. He doesn't have the pace to catch up to Stephen Fox in front. And as it stands, he will be finishing in P6, which is not a bad result at all. Could be P5 if the Garibaldi disqualification does go ahead, as I believe it will at the current time being, because I am certain he has not been on a different compound. Let's ride on board with Luthor, shall we? Late in the race, the Griffin Gaming red car. It's been through a lot today, hasn't it? Been a fair few shunts, fair few controversies, and it's I think P6 is a bit of an injustice to Luthor. I think he deserves a much better position than this, it must be said. I think he's done a phenomenal job today, and this is very much a disservice to his ability and what he achieved. In the early phase of the race, obviously there was an accident with Zitis early on. There was that accident with Ty Ison as well, which put Ison out of the race after the first pit stops. He's taking the curb, but that's interesting. A lot of drivers are taking that curb. It's very interesting to see all the different driving styles, because often in sims, there's one preferred driving style because it's what works best in the physics engine. You know, people have cottoned on to the fact that the physics engines will prefer one driving style. R-Factor 2, for example, which is my native sim of choice, there is just one proven driving style that is the quickest. You know, it's basically full lock and drift through every corner, which isn't exactly realistic for the most realistic simulator on the market, but it is by far the quickest driving style, and that's just the one that the engine, with a slight bit of braking, prefers. But it's here at Bobbin. Oh, and Fox is round! Stephen Fox, round he goes! Coming out, or into the Mercedes arena, shall I say, down into P6, Lutels up into P5. I'm not even sure what happened, because that was midway between the corners. So perhaps he locked up the rears, or just it suddenly broke loose on him? I have no idea. That's such a strange spin. Wow, very weird there for Stephen Fox. Down into P6 he goes. But as I was saying, you know, it is interesting to see all the different driving styles here in Formula Trout, because you can actually really see them. You know, down at turn 7, we've been seeing so many different lines through there, through the Schumacher S's as well, whether people are taking the curbs or not. And how people are just driving these RSS Formula Hybrid 2020 cars. Obviously based off of the 2020 Formula 1 regulations. What a shame for Fox. Canini looks like he's just overtaken Thompson. Oh, Thompson's round as well. Mike Thompson, another spin late in the race. Oh, what a shame for Mike Thompson. He's just... Oh, he's had it all happen to him today, hasn't he? Oh, poor Mike. Oh, such a shame for him. Still in P9. Been a request for more Dolciotti in the chat. There you are. There's Luca. Who's you know what? He's done very well on these C2s. He's driven very well up into P7 from P10. With some big gaps to go as well. It's been a strong performance. And Rositis as well is almost lapping him behind, I believe. We will be going on to the final lap here. And Rositis sets the fastest lap of the race in the process. Nearly a 28 dead. Wow, fantastic lap. Let's see if he can push even faster on this final lap. Here he is. Agnes Rositis. He wasn't the dominant force early in the race. That role belonged to Isom. But after Isom's retirement, he's taken up that mantle well. 40 seconds to Garibaldi in P2 now. It's been so consistent. And honestly, it's been a great performance from Resistis today. Heading into turn 7 for the final time. Dolciotti should be getting out of the way for blue flags. If he's smart, he'll get out of the way anyway, because there's no point in doing another lap because it's 19 seconds to the car in front. So he may as well get lapped and just save himself the time. And indeed he does. Let Resistis through. Coming through now. Into the chicane for the final time. It's been a great performance here from Agnes Resistis, bouncing over the curbs. That TC Esports car has been phenomenal. Rounding the final corner now. And Agnes Resistis will be your Formula Trout Challenger Split winner here at the Nurburgring. What a performance. Fantastic stuff from Resistis. The DJB 100 German Grand Prix Challenger Split goes to him. Bit of a love tap as well to Dolciotti. Both of them doing donuts. Garibaldi will come home to finish second on the road. But from what we can tell, he will be disqualified for not being on a different compound unless we just have completely missed an early pit stop, which is a possibility, to be fair. But ignoring that chance, it's been a great performance regardless. That first stint was mega. Garibaldi finishes P2 on the road. Great stuff from the Bell MK Sport driver. There's someone doing big donuts in front. He joins in as well. Willems will come home P3. Amorim not far behind in P4 after that early spin. Lutels P5. Steven Fox in P6. Dolciotti will be P7. Canini P8. Thompson P9. Woodward P10. Jacek P11. And Williams rounding out the field of drivers today. And then obviously Isom and Dalla Valle, two drivers who could have potentially won this race, but the only DNFs today. And that will be it here from the Challenger Split of round 3 of the Formula Trout Premier Series. The DJB 100 German Grand Prix. Thank you for coming along and watching, and we'll be back very shortly for the Master Split. Caitlin Penny will be joining us in the commentary booth, and it's time for the big guns now. I don't believe we'll be having any interviews. I'll just have a look in the channel. And Agnes Resistis is waiting for an interview, so I'm just going to join the commentator's channel very quickly and drag Agnes Resistis across. Agnes, hello, are you there? Agnes, you are muted, my friend. Hello? Oh, there we are. Agnes, hello, how are you doing?
Hey, wow, what a days, yeah. my first win.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your first win. Phenomenal result. It was a great performance today. Do you want to just run us through what was going on? Obviously, early in the race, Ty Isom was absolutely dominating, and obviously when he retired, you inherited that lead. What was going through your mind at that moment? Did you just, decide just to carry on driving forward? Did you suddenly feel a lot of pressure to perform?
No, actually, his retirement didn't change anything for me. I just tried to do my own thing, and I had to fight back, it wasn't an easy race. I had that massive spin, so I had to manage my tire temperatures, and yeah.
Well, still, it was a fantastic performance, and again, congratulations on your first win. And I've got to do very quick interviews today because of the delay to the race. So the time between the challenge split and the master split is very brief. But thank you very much, Agnes, for joining us. Congratulations on your first win.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
No worries. And now we'll be interviewing Case Williams. Bring him in. Hello, Case, you there? Hello, can't quite hear you there.
1 second.
Oh, just give him a second, folks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear. I'll just turn you up a little bit. Hello, Case. How are you doing?
I am feeling fantastic. Oh my god, those last like 10 laps, 10, 15 laps were immensely difficult. I was struggling with tires as well, especially towards the end of the C2s. They really started to degrade, and also the softs in the beginning as well. But wow, that was some really exciting stuff. I I noticed that what's his name again? The guy Giovanni and it was someone. He did a double stint on C4, so I knew I was likely going to end on P2. I had David Halligan beside me, helping me through the race. An amazing help, and look at me, I got P2. I got a podium finally. Redemption for Monaco in sprint series.
Indeed, indeed. Well, yeah, great result. Obviously, yeah, indeed. Garibaldi did not. He did a double stint on the C4, so you will be P2. So that's great news to hear for you. And yeah, great race. You know, you just had a very consistent, very strong race, and like you said, redemption for Monaco Sprint Series. So well done, Case, and thank you for coming along for the interview.
Absolutely. Thank you as well. Great commentary.
Oh, thank you very much. It's always appreciated. That was Case Williams, P2, P3 on the road. And that will be it for the Challenger split of the Formula Trout Premier Series. Round 3, the DJB German Grand Prix at the Nurburgring. We'll be back very, very shortly for the Master Split. So just stick around.